People join companies and quit managers. My dad used to say that so many times growing up. I feel like I heard it every day. I didn't really understand how much that meant to him, though, until after he retired. We were taking the dog out for a walk one night, and he started telling me about one of his proudest moments. He was a banker in Texas his whole career, and ever since I can remember, he was in leadership positions, either vice president or president of a bank, so he had a number of employees that reported to him. And he said 6 months into his first job as president, this moment came to him that changed his career forever. It was unexpected, and it was one of those things where you don't prepare for this. You don't know how to handle it. You just go with what you believe. So what happened was his biggest customer, the guy that ran his company payroll and his personal finances through my dad's bank, comes storming into his office one day, throws the door open, puts his hands on my dad's desk and says, "Bill, we've got a problem." My dad's stunned, stands up, and we'll just call this guy Mr. Customer. He says, "Mr. Customer, let's take a seat. Let's talk this out. I'm not sure what happened, but let's find a way to resolve this for you." He says, "Bill, I work with this lady when I come into your bank, and every single time I work with her, she messes something up. She screws up, she wastes my time, she doesn't know what she's doing, and I'm sick of it. So today I told her, you are the most incompetent person I've ever met. I don't see how you still have a job, you stupid N-word." Yeah. He called this African American lady one of the most heinous words you can call someone. My dad said it was only a few seconds, but it felt like forever as all these different things were racing through his mind. What the board of directors was going to say if he lost this account, what this meant for his career. And finally, he said he got this moment of clarity, and he started speaking. And he said, "Mr. Customer, I apologize. When you come into this bank, you should expect my employees to be able to help you in a competent and proficient manner. I'm going to speak with her. I'm going to make sure she's educated and she knows how to do her job right." However, when I speak with her, if I find out that you called her that word, we're done doing business together. He said this guy leaned back in his chair, steepled his hands, looks at my dad and goes, "You don't have to go ask her. I'm telling you, I called her that word." My dad knew he couldn't back down. He didn't want to back down. So without losing eye contact with this guy, he said that was critical to him. He just wanted to stare this guy down. He pushes the intercom button on his phone. He says, "Jimmy, can you come in here?" Again, without losing eye contact, he says, "Jimmy, can you go and close out Mr. Customer's accounts?" And again, my dad just wanted to stare him down until he left his office. But out of the corner of his eye, he could see Jimmy wasn't moving. So he finally had to, and he looks at Jimmy, and there's this look of fear on his face. He recognizes the significance of the moment, the impact this is going to have on the bank. And so my dad has to tell him, "Jimmy, it's okay. Go close out the accounts." Took a little bit of time, have to get all the paperwork together, get the checks. My dad said he just stared at this man the entire time. Never broke focus, just stared at him. Finally, Jimmy came in, had to sign the paperwork, had to give him his checks, and the man left. My dad never once saw him again. He said the rest of the day was kind of a blur. He had to have some difficult conversations. He had to explain to the board of directors what just happened. He had to tell the loan committee that they had to pull a lot of loans that they were about to make. However, he did say that he slept pretty easy that night. He didn't know if he was going to be fired. He felt this anxiety inside. I mean, he had been working so hard to get to this point. Think about that. Think about you are working to get to the point in your career that you want to obtain. And then as soon as you get there, 6 months into it, this thing comes your way that you have to respond to, but it can change your entire life. He didn't get fired. And as we were walking, I asked him, how'd you know what to do in that moment? And he said, I'll tell you the same thing I told the board of directors. People join companies, and they quit managers. And if you keep me on, I'm never going to have a turnover problem. And that's what he did with his career. He focused on his people. He knew the hidden costs associated with the turnover in a corporation. But more importantly, he knew that if he treated his people right, they were going to turn around and take care of him as well. And so everyone in his bank found out that he had let their biggest customer walk out the door because he had treated one of his employees poorly. I think that's what leaders should be made of. It's something I try to take with me as I go through my career. And I hope you take it as well. Because it's true. People quit managers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Mark, please.